Good morning, students. Today we are going to start chapter number 4, Atoms, Molecules and Radicals. Dear students, you must have learnt in biology that cell is the smallest unit of life. Cells join to form tissues, tissues join to form organs join to form organ system, and different organ system together led to the formation of a whole body, whether it is plant body or whether it is an animal body. So similar is the case here. We are going to learn about what are atoms, what are molecules, and then what are radicals. So dear students, atom is the smallest unit of an element. Okay, atoms join to form molecules and molecules join to form matter. So we can say that atoms are building blocks of matter. Atoms are building blocks of matter. Here in picture it is clear there are number of atoms. Atoms join to form molecule and molecules join to form matter. Okay, so students, atoms are the building blocks of matter. Now let us learn more about atoms in detail. Now, if this is a matter, okay, matter split into pieces. When we further split, it split into smaller pieces and then still into smaller pieces. But a stage will come when that matter cannot be splitted further, and that indivisible part is known as atom. Okay, so and this smallest part of an element is known as atom. Now this atom shows all the properties of the element. Okay, the properties shown by element in a large piece is shown by the atom, which is the smallest unit. So students, what is an atom? Atom is the smallest part of an element that takes part in a chemical reaction, and these represented by symbols. Okay, representation of the element is done by symbols. So students, we can say that elements are represented by symbols, and elements contain what? Large number of atoms in it. For example, carbon element is represented by symbol C, whereas helium atom is represented by symbol He. And while assigning the symbol, either we use the first letter or two prominent letters of English name or Latin name as the symbol. For example, English name we have discussed. One is of carbon, symbol is C, the first letter of the English name. In case of helium, we are using symbol He, that is first two letters of the English name. But there are certain elements like sodium and potassium which have derived their name or symbol from the Latin name. For example, sodium is having symbol Na, which has been derived from its Latin name, that is natrium. The Latin name for sodium is natrium and its symbol is being derived from its Latin name. So students, it must be clear to you that atom is the smallest part of an element. Now students, next is radical. Next is molecules. What are molecules? Now so far we have discussed about atoms. These atoms don't exist independently. They don't exist independently, but they join to form molecules. They join to form molecules. So we can say that molecule is the smallest part of an element or a compound. Smallest part of an element or a compound that can exist independently. Okay, so atoms don't exist independently, but molecule exist independently, and molecule may be the smallest part of an element or a compound. So on this basis, molecules can be of two types. One is molecules of element like oxygen and molecules of compounds like water. Again, like elements are represented by symbols, these molecules are represented by formula which will give the number of atoms present in a particular molecule, and the number of atoms present in a molecule represents the atomicity of element. That represents what? Atomicity of elements. Depending on this, the molecules can be monoatomic, diatomic or polyatomic. Okay, so when a molecule contains one atom, we call it monoatomic, and generally the noble gases such as helium and neon, they are monoatomic elements or monoatomic molecules. Similarly, diatomic, di means two. So molecule containing two atoms are known as diatomic molecules. For example, oxygen, hydrogen and nitrogen. These contains two atoms. Oxygen molecule contains two atoms of oxygen, hydrogen contains two atoms of hydrogen and nitrogen contains two atoms of nitrogen. Then are polyatomic. Poly means many. That is, if a molecule contains more than two atoms. If a molecule contains more than two atoms, then we call it polyatomic molecule. For example, ozone. Ozone is triatomic. It contains three atoms. Next is phosphorus, which contains four atoms. So it is tetraatomic. Then one important example is of sulfur. Sulfur is octaatomic. Sulfur is octaatomic. Octaatomic means it contains 8 atoms in a single molecule. Okay, so depending on the atomicity, molecules can be monoatomic, diatomic or polyatomic. Then next is valency. What is valency? Students, the combining capacity of an element. The combining capacity of an element with other elements is known as valency. Now, why atoms or of an element need to be combined? It is done only to achieve stability. Okay, to attain stability, atoms of different elements combine with each other either to form molecule of element or molecule of compound. So the combining capacity of an element with other elements is known as valency. Okay, depending upon with how many atoms it can combine, elements can be monovalent, divalent, trivalent or tetravalent. For example, hydrogen is monovalent, oxygen is divalent, aluminium is trivalent and carbon is tetravalent. That means hydrogen can form only single bond, oxygen forms two bonds, that is it combines with two atoms of element, aluminium combines with three elements, then carbon combines with four different elements. Okay, so depending on the valency, the elements can be monovalent, divalent, trivalent or tetravalent. Now, besides these, there are some elements which exhibit more than one valency, They are said to have variable valency. Variable means more than one. So there are certain elements like copper, iron, tin and lead which shows variable valency. Students, copper shows valency of 1 and 2. Iron shows valency of 2 and 3, whereas tin and lead shows valencies of 2 and 4. So all these elements exhibit variable valency. Now, if an element exhibits variable valency, then to distinguish the one valency of an element from the other, what is being used? Roman numerals. And Roman numerals are used which are written within the circular bracket. So these Roman numerals are used to distinguish the one valency of element from the other valency of the element. For example, as I have told you, copper exhibits two valencies, that is 1 and 2. So its compound with chlorine having valency 1 will be represented as copper 1 chloride. And if copper is having valency 2, then we will call it copper 2 chloride. So students, this is the concept of valency and variable valency. Thank you very much.